I'm here with Marc Sorensen. He's the Chico city manager. So how are things looking as far as like flooding and other things around from the storm this morning?
Nothing terribly unusual that I know of yet. Of course, north of town, Rock Creek and those kinds of areas are pretty well impacted. I know the sheriff overnight was worried about Richardson Springs. I haven't seen an update on that one yet. This looks like something we see once every 10 years or so, except for the muddy water. That's different, new, never seen that before. I've been in Chico in and out for about 60 years, so never seen this.
Yeah, the dark chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Butte Creek looked like this after the 99 storms.
Right.
Yeah, so this is Sycamore Diversion. We've done a little reporting on kind of maintenance issues at 5 Mile. Kind of the tug of war that's gone on there for the last 50 years between the Department of Water Resources, the county, and the city.
Yeah, it's really been since the 80s. Again, I grew up here. I remember when it was maintained in the 60s, 70s, early 80s.
And so where are we standing with that? Whose responsibility is it to maintain the vegetation above the dam at 5 Mile?
Well, we think it's primarily Butte County. They are the designated local maintaining agency. Butte County's in charge of the structures and levees. DWR, though, is in charge of the channels themselves. So whether that's a channel issue or an impoundment issue is a bit of a debate. But
going back for a long time now.
Yes, many years.
So ideally, from a flood control perspective, would it be best to maintain the area, say, between the footbridge upstream and the diversion there, as kind of like to remove the riparian vegetation there and maintain it more as an open channel?
Absolutely. Restore it to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers specifications. Again, I grew up here. I remember what it looked like.
So there was no vegetation there, right?
There was zero vegetation. Even when my kids were young in the early 90s, there was no vegetation there.
And so the worry there is that that extra vegetation constricts the channel and makes it more likely does that make it more likely the levee could fail there then at the 5 Mile diversion?
Well, it certainly puts more pressure on the dam itself, but it's also the 70,000 to 80,000 cubic yards of gravel and sand that have accumulated that need to go away.
Yeah. So what's the kind of status of that? When would that maybe happen?
Don't know. Again, the county and our engineering folks are working on currently quantifying exactly the size and magnitude of what needs to be removed. And then we would have to come up with a plan of what that looks like, and most importantly, what are you going to do with it? Where are you going to take it?
Yeah.
Not an easy question. And then we have to get all of the usual environmental permits before you can go in and do something like that.
Yeah. Well, if it keeps up like this for a couple of days, it'd be interesting to see, like, it's a moving target, right? Like the channel's always changing. And
it is a moving target, yes.
Anything else you want to tell people about kind of the flood control system around Chico? Any maintenance or ongoing kind of issues the city has with how these things are being maintained? Or?
No, I think this is really the only area that I'm familiar with where we have some concerns about the lack of maintenance, and that was an issue where I believe the county got a cease and desist order in the 80s just based upon environmental concerns.
From DWR or from the city?
I don't remember. No, it wasn't from the city. I believe it was from DWR, but I've scoured around a little trying to find that letter. Haven't found it yet. Yeah.
Well, it seems like this is kind of an issue that a lot of municipalities face all over. Big flood control projects built in the 50s or 60s, and then they're expensive to maintain, and a lot of places, even big, even like Morgan Hill, have these ongoing issues.
Yeah, we have another one in the south end of the county, Cherokee Canal, that similarly situated where it needs to be cleaned out.
Yeah.
And it's a struggle between, is it wildlife habitat or is it a flood control structure?
Right. Yeah, I think that that long memory is important. People get used to thinking that like 5 Mile's always been this riparian jungle, and a lot of you remember when there was a swimming pool there.
Yeah, pretty great one too.
I've heard you used to be able to jump off the footbridge when water was deep enough.
I've done it a few times, yeah.
All right. Hard to imagine now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming out.
All right.
Thanks for talking to us.
Have a good day.
Thank you.